just woke up and I slept naturally. I don't know how that happened or why that happened. I talked to my mom yesterday. Yesterday was a really weird day. Yesterday, like, you can get the play-by-play if you go to my Twitter, which is no smarter. SMAR TYR, like smart and martyr pushed together. I feel like I can't shake this dream energy. Okay, so try to explain it, but I'm having a hard time grasping it myself, really. There's this book, and something about the book is giving me clues, or it feels kind of like Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego crossed with The Never-Ending Story. And I have powers in this dream, but I'm just getting used to having them, and they are not inexhaustible. But I can just go to places. I was looking at a map, and there was there was a place up north that I was going, and I just looked at the map and was just there, and it was cold there, and that was actually the last place that I remember going, and then the dream shifted to something else. But before that, as I'm getting these clues and everything, I'm doing this stuff, there's this boy, and the boy gets really, really small. He's what he says is, "I feel so light," but I made him small and put him in a white shirt with a very voluminous tutu, and then he's standing on an animal. I'm not even sure what the animal is, because I have this perspective of boy shrinking down and being on the fur. And then in this other scene, we'll call it a scene, I'm it's some kind of a hospital setting, and I'm needing to change a color of something in my hand to blue, but I've been doing a bunch of other stuff, other magic tricks or whatever, and I'm having trouble with it, and someone is definitely there with me. Someone's definitely there. They're holding this book, reading this book. The writing in the book appears icing, really thin, glazed icing. It looks like icing, the really thin stuff. So also a little bit something inappropriate, but I don't know what either. I don't know what it is. The book's really big. It's really heavy, and I'm having trouble changing the color of this thing to blue, and I need to change it to blue for some reason. And it's kind of as my powers are getting exhausted that the dream is shifting from this weird Carmen Sandiego deduction, detective, riddle type of game scenario, but it's more serious than a game. It doesn't have a whimsical air. It's really important that I do this stuff. It just seems all very random, and I'm having a hard time grasping it. Okay, so at the end of the dream, like, the dream shift is, it takes, like, when I choose to go to the place, I choose to go to a club instead of an eye doctor, because I think that's where, like, the next clue is or something. But I just, like, don't have powers anymore once I'm there, and it's, like, it's a club, but there's also, like, this, fraternity, or, like a college school type of atmosphere. Like, I know a lot of the people, and I'm really familiar with the club. People know me, and I'm, like, sitting at this bar, and all this stuff is going on, and I'm just, like, watching for the longest time. I think I'm just kind of, like, acclimating from where I was. And then this guy leaves, and I noticed that there's his ID, like, up against this little, like, metal thing at the end of the wooden part at the base of the bar. It's, like, stuck in there, and then his wallet is just, like, at the very, very end of it. And his wallet is dark colored, and, like, it blends into the dark wood of the bar. But it basically looks like his wallet, like fell out, and his ID, like, bounced out of it just next to it and got jammed in just this kind of poorly made, like, metal thing that's supposed to be, like, the end cap to the bar, but it's, like, broken. So, okay, that's weird. I get that, and he, like, comes back as I'm, like, picking it up, and he's like, what are you doing, like, acting like I'm, like, doing something bad, and acting like I'm up to something, and, like, that doesn't stop. Like, everyone acts like I'm up to something. Like, I leave, like, the dance club area, and then there's, like, a quieter type of large communal place, and, okay, well, the bar area is, like, down some stairs. So I go upstairs, and it's, like, this large communal place, like a school, and I'm like, what the hell is with that guy? Like, why was he so pissed off? Like, that's ridiculous. Like, I don't understand that. And then, like, someone hassles me, like, as I'm, like, just, like, leaving the stairwell. Some girl, like, hassles me, and she's like, take back your phone, and I'm like, okay, so this is my phone now? Like, I'm just, like, dropped into this life that I don't understand what's going on, basically, and I take this phone, and I'm like, okay, and I just have the phone. I'm just, like, walking with it, and I'm heading, like, towards these doors, and, oh, I forgot to say there's an interruption, from that dream with the book ending to the other one starting. Like, I actually woke up because my cats were, like, pawing at the door. Like, it was time for them to be fed, and, like, somebody slammed the door really hard. But the weird thing is that, like, I read in the book, like, a rhyme, and all I remember is that it started with my doll and ended with throw them a bone. And, I woke up with, like, a cramp, like cramps, which I'm not on my period, but I was like, oh, maybe that's foretelling that my period's gonna start. Just, like, carrying that energy right into reality very easily. And then the cats pound the door, and I'm like, oh, throw them a bone, it's time to feed them. So I'm like, Sean, get up and feed the cats, and he does. And I just go right back to sleep. And then I have trouble with getting the thing to change to blue, and then I choose to go north instead of south, and south was some eye care place, and north was this bar dance hall thing. So, okay, back to the school setting where I've just been handed a phone. I'm walking towards a set of doors. There's 3 doors. I don't know why there's 3 doors, but there's, like, 3 sets of doors. before you're actually outside, like with the sky above you, and like it's interesting. But I walk by this big like pillar that has like a security thing on it, and my phone is like, you now have 3 like seconds to leave the building, and it's like, what? You know, like I'm like a foot from the first exit, and like aware that my phone just did this and that these doors are going to lock. So I just like pound, 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 like I'm out of there. And all those people are locked in there. There's a lot of people locked in the building. And I don't know what goes on with that at all, because like I'm like suddenly like running, and I'm running, it feels like I'm running away from like my high school northwest, and like I'm going to my boyfriend's house, which is like run straight and go right, and then that gets confused with like running to my friend Jill's house, like in elementary school, from the bus stop of an older house that I lived at, and there's like this awareness that a lot went on before I interacted with that guy. So it's like, it's basically like when like, oh, you're like, something happened in a TV show, let's go back and watch that now. Like like the character remembers that, but there's like a very long scene that plays out, and the thing I think to liken it to is Pretty Little Liars, and like that's really funny because this scenario is like Pretty Little Liars, and I'm asked to meet someone, and then they're not there. Like, her name is Jackie, and she hands me a tape, and she's like, this isn't the only copy, and it's in this really busy room, and there's a TV, and I'm on the TV, and I'm like, I can either like watch what's going on, or I can put my ear up against the speaker to try to hear what's going on, because like there's no, it's an old TV, and the sound comes out the side of it, and I'm trying to listen, and all I gleaned from that, like from having that memory, is that like I'm actually like not a good person. Like I did do something that was not cool and not nice to these girls that are like hounding me, and that's the reason that they are hounding me. And I just can't like figure out what I did. And then I like arrive at my destination, and it's not Jill's house or my house or my boyfriend's house. Like, it's some place I've never been, and being someplace I've never been, like in my dreams, is like unusual. Like I gotta say, like every other location I've been at like feels familiar until we get here, and here is like this really big house, and it's really clean and has like weird angles, and for some reason there's like a tub on the first floor, and there's a party going on, like a party's being thrown for me, and like there's a lot of people there, but like none of the people there are my friends. They're all like how could you do this to us, and like you're a horrible person. And I'm just bewildered by the house that I'm in, because it's just like huge panes of glass and really cool like modern art, and it's like nice and odd. It's very odd. So I'm like moving around the house, and I don't even know like where anything is or who anyone is, and there's trays of food and everything, and like I'm not even gonna touch any of the food, because like I don't know what's going on with any of that, and I just feel like so like hounded, like targeted, and I like start thinking in the dream that this is like am I A? Like, what is going on here? And I was thinking that Jackie, who, like, you know, handed me the tape and was, like, trying to blackmail me or something. Like, there was something, like, weird about that, was, you know, a bad person, but it's like, seems like I'm the bad person, because, like, everybody hates me. And, so I have this awareness of Pretty Little Liars, and, like, the next thing that I remember is, like, going into a department store, and I'm, like, following, Amber Benson, which I cannot remember her name or her Pretty Little Liars name. Like, I do not know, like, what I called her or, like, what I was thinking of her as, but, like, I recognized her. She's also on the t-shirts in the department store, wearing really, really unflattering, like, what the fuck things. Like, okay, like, gold booty shorts with a silver thong over them and, like, a crocheted, like, shirt. Not, like, none of it looked good, but, like, the department store was really cool. They had, like, a Lisa Frank section, so there were, like, really, like, bomb Lisa Frank clothes, like, with, like, every signature Lisa Frank thing, like, vintage Lisa Frank. Like, the yellow dogs, and the pandas, and the Dalmatians, and the bunnies, and the leopards, and the kitties, and rainbows, and stars, and, it all is, like, everything it's on is kind of like a light wash, so it all, like, has a vintage look to it, so it's not, like, bright, it's, like, pastel Lisa Frank, but only because it has this aged appearance to it. And there's, like, hoodies, and sweatshirts, and cardigans, and backpacks. It's, like, it's a very large section, and next to that is, like, this section of, like, windbreakers and other pastel stuff, and it seems like at some point, like, I'm not walking around the store anymore, or I'm aware that I'm not walking around the store, like, I'm being wheeled around the store, and someone is there with me, and it's close to closing time because it's Sunday, and the last thing that I see before I leave the store, and, like, I guess I didn't have money, I didn't, like, have any ability to buy anything,